Ken. Well, just to address Mayor Bradley on the animal control appointment, one could say you owe me two with this process for the last year. But in all seriousness, I 100% concur with Mayor Bradley. It has been an absolute pleasure working with Little John and Associates and Cumberland Region Tamara and the support and guidance they've been able to provide for us. Throughout this, or shortly before, I don't want to go back too much into the past with Mayor Bradley and what he had said, but throughout this process, it was one that I realized quickly on as I was a new commissioner that we needed to have a vision of where we wanted to be. In community activities, talking civic clubs, chambers of commerce and whatnot, I realized that we discussed these things, but there was not an articulated plan. And Mayor Bradley introduced me to this process and had shared with me the work that they had done throughout and up and through 2007, through, I guess, a little point in 2011 or 2012. And there was a great foundation set by the what is now the steering committee of our comp growth plan. And that steering committee has been a treasure trove of ideas. We have been insistent working with not only Cumberland Region Tamara, but our Chamber of Commerce, and we've got one of the most vibrant chambers of commerce led by our CEO who's here today, Margot Fosnes. And between the three of us, Mayor Bradley included, we insisted on having a cross-section of our county, not only regionally or geographically, but with business leaders, agricultural interests, farmers, educators, and not necessarily concern ourselves with what I call the government types, because I insist that I'm just a layperson throughout this process. So I took that template of insisting that the layperson needs to be the one to have the input into this. That steering committee, of course, we were very fortunate, and I would say Little John in choosing us, so to speak, and it's been a pleasure to work with them. Quickly on, we developed the process of what we wanted to do. We had stakeholder interviews, various members outside of the steering committee that were identified throughout the county that gave us guidance of where they wanted the county to be. We did benefit, I will say, to back up with the capital campaign that we'd had, our Realizing Robertson's Future, that had gone through somewhat of a similar process as well. And one thing that I thought that was very beneficial, I was somewhat nervous about doing when we had developed it, but I was insistent on doing, was a series of community workshops throughout the county. We had a series of 4, I would say 4.5, because we met with the Rotary Club, Kiwanis Club, but we have municipalities that are vested in this as well. So we tried to make it geographic, but we were insistent in a county of Robertson that has 9 different municipalities within the county lines to insist that the other municipalities, not just the 4 which would include the county itself, for them to have input, and we tried to reach leaders there. November and December is when all of this transpired. That was a very busy time, a very productive time for our comp growth plan. And then we've sat back and let the fruits of our labor come in over the last several months from Little John and being able to coordinate and work with them on a sometimes weekly, if not for sure monthly basis. And we're ready for Tuesday night, which the plan will be unveiled for the county itself. I would say I'm nervous, but I'm not nervous. I've got anticipation about it because of the early feedback when we've met with the steering committee again. We're starting to see the fruits of our labor. All of the consensus that we had brought in, insisting that we have community and layperson input when this was presented to some of the committees, our transportation committee and steering committees. There's been some discussions, but they've been healthy discussions. And I would submit that the input that we had from our community leaders and that cross-section of the county is what's paid dividends. So I'm excited to look forward to Tuesday night when the formal plan is presented to the county itself. So that is the spiel of probably 13 months of hard labor that I was appointed to. It's been much more pleasurable, and I don't see any constituents, so I can say that it's been more pleasurable than the Animal Control Committee. But it has been one that it's certainly going to be rewarding as we anticipate Tuesday night.